This is my scene!
Negative, Sheriff. Federal perimeter, you can't cross.
You're under arrest!
When Sheriff Thomas pulled up to this active crime scene, he thought he was the highest authority in the county. He believed he was making a perfect arrest on a rogue city cop. He slammed the officer against a police cruiser, confident that he was winning a power struggle. But Sheriff Thomas was about to learn a brutal lesson in jurisdiction and criminal law. The city officer he just threw against the car was not breaking the law at all. In fact, he was doing his job perfectly by preserving a major federal investigation. 6 months later, it would not be the city cop wearing an orange jumpsuit. It would be the sheriff himself. How did a veteran sheriff completely misread the law, abuse his power, and end up facing a grand jury indictment? He had decades of experience, yet he let his ego completely blind him to basic police procedure. He thought his badge made him untouchable, but it actually made his downfall even swifter. To understand this catastrophic lapse in competence, and to see exactly how a top lawman destroyed his own career in a matter of minutes, we have to rewind the bodycam footage exactly 42 minutes earlier. It is just past midnight and a massive drug bust has just taken place. This was not a normal arrest. It was a high-stakes operation involving multiple suspects and a mountain of illegal cargo. Officer Davis is the first city officer to arrive as backup, and his bodycam shows exactly what a true professional looks like. He does not rush in blindly or shout over the radio. Instead, he steps out of his patrol car and immediately goes to work. He pulls long strips of yellow crime scene tape from his trunk and begins stretching it across the driveway. He knows that in a major case like this, preserving evidence is the most important job. Every footprint, every dropped item, and every vehicle must stay exactly where it is. Davis calmly speaks to the officers already on the scene, getting a quick update on the situation. He sets up a secure perimeter, making sure regular citizens and curious onlookers stay back. His movements are smooth and practiced. He is following the police handbook to the letter, ensuring that the future court case will not be ruined by a messy crime scene. But while Officer Davis is working hard to keep the scene secure, the radio inside his car starts to crackle with tense news. The dispatcher announces that the county sheriff's department has just been notified and is sending multiple units to the location. You can hear the slight hesitation in the dispatcher's voice, and for good reason. In this county, the city police and the sheriff's department do not get along. There is a long history of bad blood and jurisdictional friction between the two agencies. The sheriff's deputies often feel like they own the entire county, while the city officers know they have legal authority over their own streets. Usually, this just leads to mean glares and arguments over who gets to write the police report. But tonight, with a massive federal drug investigation on the line, that old rivalry is about to turn into a full-blown disaster. As Davis finishes tying the yellow tape to a fence post, the distant sound of county sirens begins to echo in the dark, signaling that big trouble is on the way. The loud sirens grow closer until a large black SUV with county markings screeches to a halt right at the edge of the crime scene. The driver's side door swings open and Sheriff Thomas steps out. He does not look like an officer arriving to help. He looks like a man who believes he owns everything his eyes can see. He walks forward with immense, unearned confidence, puffing out his chest and adjusting his duty belt. He does not stop to ask the city officers for an update, and he does not look at the yellow tape Officer Davis just carefully put up. Instead, he immediately begins barking orders at everyone in sight. He points at a parked car that contains crucial evidence and yells for his deputies to open the doors and search it. He tells another deputy to start moving suspects around before their photos can be taken. His loud voice fills the air, but his orders completely contradict standard police procedure. By trampling through the area and touching things before the forensic team arrives, the sheriff is actively compromising the crime scene. He is ruining the very evidence needed to put the criminals away, all because he wants to look like he is the one in charge. Officer Davis watches this happen, and he knows he cannot just stand by and let a major federal investigation be destroyed. He steps forward, keeping his hands visible and his posture relaxed. He does not match the sheriff's angry energy. Instead, Davis calmly but firmly corrects the sheriff right then and there. Davis' polite but steady voice cuts through the noise as he explains that the vehicle is part of a sealed federal perimeter. He directly cites specific department protocols that forbid anyone from entering the zone. Then, Davis goes a step further and quotes the exact state statutes regarding active scene preservation, reminding the sheriff that tampering with this evidence could ruin the entire prosecution. The contrast in competence between the two men is stark. On one side, you have the sheriff, who is relying entirely on his high rank and loud voice to get his way. On the other side, you have a young city officer who actually knows the law inside and out. The sheriff freezes, his face turning red under the flashing emergency lights. He is not used to being told no, especially not by a city cop, and his massive ego is about to push him over the edge. The sheriff stands completely still for a second, his jaw clenched as he stares at Officer Davis. He feels deeply insulted by the young city officer's superior knowledge of the law. In his mind, no regular cop should ever question his authority, especially not in front of his own deputies. Because Davis refused to back down and let the crime scene be ruined, the sheriff completely snaps. His professional mask falls away, replaced by pure anger. He steps right into Davis's personal space, pointing a finger directly at his face. The sheriff begins to shout, his voice cracking with rage under the flashing blue lights. He loudly accuses Officer Davis of obstruction of justice and insubordination. He claims that by protecting the federal crime scene, Davis is actually interfering with a county investigation. It makes no sense legally, but the sheriff is too blinded by his own hurt pride to care about the rules anymore. He is determined to prove who has more power, even if it means breaking the law himself. Suddenly, the situation turns physical. The sheriff reaches out and aggressively grabs Officer Davis, spinning him around to force him against the side of a nearby police cruiser. The body cam shakes violently as the sheriff yanks Davis's arms behind his back. He pulls a pair of handcuffs from his belt and slams them onto Davis's wrists, clicking them shut with unnecessary force. As this happens, the body cam captures the sheer disbelief of the other officers standing on the scene. A heavy, shocked silence falls over the warehouse parking lot. The city police officers and even the county deputies just stand there with wide eyes, completely frozen. They cannot believe a veteran sheriff is actually putting a professional, uniform-wearing city cop in chains just for doing his job. Throughout the entire assault, Officer Davis shows incredible discipline. He does not fight back, he does not yell, and he does not resist the cuffs. He remains perfectly calm, keeping his voice steady and low. He looks directly at the furious sheriff and delivers a quiet, chilling warning, "You are making a massive mistake." Davis knows the body cam is recording every single second of this illegal arrest, and the sheriff has just sealed his own fate. For a few agonizing minutes, Officer Davis remains standing awkwardly against the police cruiser, his hands tightly bound in cold metal cuffs. The flashing emergency lights cast long, nervous shadows across the faces of everyone present. No one says a word. The county deputies look down at their boots, suddenly realizing that their boss has gone way too far. The city officers glare at the deputies, anger boiling just beneath the surface. Feels like a powder keg waiting for a single spark. Just as the heavy tension threatens to break into a physical fight between the two groups, the screech of tires breaks the silence. A plain white sedan speeds into the parking lot and stops right next to the sheriff's large SUV. The doors open and the city police chief steps out. He had heard the frantic radio calls and rushed to the warehouse to see the disaster for himself. The chief takes one look at Officer Davis in handcuffs, and his face turns completely to stone. He walks straight toward the sheriff, cutting through the crowd of nervous officers. As he moves, the city police officers naturally step up behind him, forming a solid blue wall of support. Seeing this, the county deputies instinctively step closer to their sheriff, resting their hands near their duty belts. Suddenly, there is a very real, very dangerous standoff happening right in the middle of a major crime scene. It is a terrible sight. Law enforcement officers who are supposed to be working together to fight real criminals are now staring each other down like enemy gangs. The sheriff tries to puff out his chest again. He opens his mouth to explain why he made the arrest, ready to list his fake charges of obstruction and insubordination. But the city chief does not even let the sheriff speak. The chief does not yell or throw a punch. He is much smarter than that. He knows that arguing with an angry man is useless. Instead, the chief turns his head and speaks directly to his own city commanders. He gives a very clear, very loud order. He demands that all body cam footage from the city officers be locked down and backed up immediately. He knows the sheriff has just walked straight into a giant legal trap. By getting everything safely recorded and secured, the chief is ensuring the sheriff cannot delete the evidence later. The chief then turns back to the sheriff and calmly tells him to take the cuffs off his officer right now. The sheriff hesitates, looking around at the dozen cameras pointing right at his face. The anger slowly drains out of him, replaced by a sudden, sickening feeling of regret. He quietly unlocks the handcuffs, setting Officer Davis free. The sheriff tries to walk away and act like he is still in charge, but the damage is already done. He might not know it yet, but he has just handed over everything needed to end his own career. The chaotic scene at the warehouse slowly comes to an end, but the real battle is just beginning. The focus now shifts away from the dark, flashing streets and straight into the quiet hallways of the legal system. The city police department knows they have to handle this situation very carefully. Usually, when a police officer does something wrong, the case goes to the local internal affairs division. But the city chief knows that the sheriff has too much power and too many friends in the county. If the local system handles the case, the truth might get buried, or the evidence might mysteriously disappear. To make sure everything is done completely by the book, the city police department decides to completely bypass the local investigators. The very next morning, the chief takes the lockdown body cam footage and drives it straight to the State Bureau of Investigation. They also send a digital copy to the federal agents who were running the original drug bust. By handing the tape over to higher state and federal authorities, the city ensures that the sheriff cannot use his high rank to scare anyone or cover up his actions. When the state investigators and legal experts sit down in a dark room to review the body cam footage, they are absolutely shocked by what they see. They do not just watch it once. They slow the video down frame by frame, analyzing every word and movement. The legal experts quickly realize that this was not just a simple mistake or a minor procedural error. It was not a case of a stressed-out lawman having a bad night or misunderstanding a tricky rule. The video clearly shows that Officer Davis was standing in a safe area, doing his job correctly and following every single state law. The sheriff, on the other hand, had absolutely no legal reason to touch him. The experts reach a scary conclusion. The sheriff committed a serious crime. By forcing handcuffs onto Davis without a real warrant or a valid legal reason, the sheriff committed false imprisonment. Even worse, because he used his badge, his uniform, and his power to pull off the illegal arrest, he committed official misconduct under color of law. This means he used his government authority as a weapon to break the law instead of upholding it. The legal team writes up a massive report, stating that the sheriff did not act like a peacekeeper. Instead, he acted like a criminal, and the evidence against him is completely undeniable. The legal gears grind forward quickly, bringing the story to the satisfying payoff that was promised from the very beginning. The state prosecutors do not waste any time. They gather all the evidence, including the crystal-clear body cam footage, and present it to a grand jury. A grand jury is a group of regular citizens who listen to the facts and decide if there is enough evidence to officially charge someone with a crime. Inside the closed courtroom, the citizens watch the video of that fateful night. They see the sheriff yelling, trampling the crime scene, and aggressively handcuffing an innocent officer. The evidence is so overwhelming that the jury does not need long to make their decision. They vote unanimously to charge the high-ranking lawman. The contrast between the sheriff on the night of the arrest and the sheriff during his court appearance is absolutely stunning. On the body cam tape, he was full of arrogant energy, shouting over everyone, and puffing out his chest like a king who could never be touched. But when the day comes for him to face the judge, that loud, angry bully completely vanishes. Instead, a local news camera catches him walking into the courthouse wearing a dark, plain suit. His head is down, his shoulders are slumped, and he keeps his mouth tightly shut. He looks stone-faced and completely silent as reporters shout questions at him from behind the metal barricades. There are no flashing police lights to protect him now, and his tough guy attitude is completely gone. He looks like any other nervous citizen waiting to find out if they are going to prison. The judge reads the official paperwork out loud, and the fall from grace is final. The grand jury hands down severe felony indictments against Sheriff Thomas. He is officially charged with felony false imprisonment, felony official misconduct, and tampering with a government investigation. Each of these charges carries the threat of real prison time. Because a person facing major felony charges cannot legally run a law enforcement agency, the county steps in immediately. The county commissioners issue a harsh statement and force the sheriff into an immediate suspension, which quickly turns into a forced, permanent resignation. His shiny gold badge is taken away, his department keys are turned in, and his long career in law enforcement is completely over. The man who thought he was the ultimate boss of the county is now just a criminal defendant, waiting for his final punishment. With the felony charges officially filed and his law enforcement career completely ruined, the former sheriff faces a terrible choice. He can go to a full criminal trial and risk spending many years behind bars, or he can make a deal. His high-priced defense lawyers look at the crystal-clear body cam footage and tell him the honest truth. A jury will convict him in minutes if they see that tape. Knowing he has no chance of winning, the former sheriff decides to take a plea deal to save himself from a cold prison cell. In exchange for avoiding a long jail sentence, he stands before a judge and quietly pleads guilty to reduced charges of official misconduct and reckless endangerment. The judge accepts the plea but hands down a strict punishment. The former sheriff is sentenced to 3 years of intense probation, ordered to perform hundreds of hours of community service, and forced to pay heavy court fines. Most importantly, the court permanently revokes his law enforcement license. This means he can never wear a badge, carry a service weapon, or work as a police officer anywhere in the country for the rest of his life. His power is officially gone forever. But the criminal conviction is only the first half of the final resolution. The story takes another massive turn when Officer Davis files a major federal civil rights lawsuit against the county. Davis was treated like a common criminal just for doing his job, and his lawyers argue that the county failed to train and control their arrogant sheriff. Once again, the undeniable body cam footage does all the talking. The county's legal team realizes very quickly that if this lawsuit goes in front of a jury, the financial damage could be astronomical. To avoid an even bigger disaster, the county leaders decide to settle the case out of court. They agree to pay Officer Davis a massive financial settlement of $1.2 million. While Davis receives the justice and financial comfort he truly deserves, the real tragedy is who actually has to pay that enormous bill. The money does not come out of the former sheriff's pocket. It comes directly from the local taxpayers. The regular citizens of the county are forced to pick up the tab for the sheriff's extreme hubris. Because one powerful man let his ego get the better of him on a dark street, an entire community is left paying the price for years to come. This shocking case stands as a stark reminder for law enforcement officers and citizens across the country. A shiny gold badge gives an officer legal authority on the streets, but it does not give them immunity from incompetence. It does not place anyone above the law, no matter how many years they have been in charge or how high their rank is. When a massive ego completely blinds a leader to the very laws they swore a sacred oath to uphold, justice has a way of catching up to them eventually. Sheriff Thomas learned the hard way that true power does not come from yelling the loudest or flexing your muscles at a crime scene. True power comes from knowing the law, respecting the rules, and treating your fellow officers with basic professional respect. Officer Davis proved that by staying perfectly calm, relying on his training, and letting the body cam do the talking, a regular city cop can defeat a corrupt system and protect the integrity of the law. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think about this incredible power dynamic? Do you think the former sheriff got off too easy with just probation and a forced retirement, or was losing his career and his badge punishment enough? How do you feel about the local taxpayers having to fork over more than $1 million just because one man could not control his temper? Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, because we read every single one of them. If you want to see more incredible body cam breakdowns just like this one, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss another video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the truth behind the thin blue line. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe out there, and make sure to click on the next video popping up on your screen right now to see another intense police interaction where the cameras caught absolutely everything.